Hey everyone, welcome back to Dwayne and Nidia's Food, Travel, and Fun. It's been a while since I've been in this kitchen. I think the last person in this kitchen was Dwayne with one of his wing recipes, and before that we were in Europe where we got to show you some Norwegian cruise line footage from our Mediterranean cruise that stopped in ports in both Spain, France, and Italy. So welcome back. Today I am going to make something really easy. It's a bit of a one pan type meal. It's inspired by my recent cruise, and it's called Greek lemon chicken with potatoes. But before we get to the potatoes and before we even get to that chicken and everything else, we have to make a marinade. And it's a very easy marinade to make, so I'm going to show you how to make that marinade so we can get going. First things first, I need a small bowl, which I have here, and then I'm going to start combining the ingredients for the marinade. I'm actually going to use a little bullet blender to kind of put it all together, and I'll show you how I do that. But before then, let me just review the ingredients you'll use for making the entire meal. First and foremost, you'll need some honey. I use an organic honey. Lemon juice. I prefer using real lemon, and in this case you'll need about a half cup. That's a lot of lemons. So I do have this very pure, it's called Santa Cruz pure lemon juice. I'm going to give this a try today just to see if it works. And just to top it off, once the chicken is made, I will garnish with some fresh lemon. You will need some Dijon mustard. I have some olive oil. You'll definitely need olive oil. And then you will also need about 8 cloves of garlic. More if you enjoy garlic. From the herb and spice side, I'm going to use some flaked red crushed peppers. I'm going to use some oregano, and I'm going to use some thyme. I also have my trusty salt and pepper, but certainly when you get to that part of the meal, you can do whatever you like. But let's start that marinade, because I'm going to have to put the chicken in the marinade and give it a couple of hours before we get to the next step. So here we go. This is Greek lemon chicken with potatoes. First and foremost, I am going to get out my bullet cup, and in my bullet cup, I am going to first put in 3/4 of a cup of very good extra virgin olive oil. So that will be 3/4 of a cup, and here I go. It seems like a lot of olive oil, but no one person is going to be eating all this olive oil. A lot of it will be in the marinade. And then again, a lot of it will be in flavoring the sauce, helping it roast. So here is my olive oil. And the better olive oil you can use, the better I believe this will taste. Then a half cup of lemon juice. And this is where you would have to really juice a lot of fresh lemons. You know, I might even go more than the half cup, not because I'm afraid of the sauce, but because I'm afraid it won't be lemony enough. I will reassess, and I may end up using some real lemon at the end, or some lemon concentrate like I do with lots of other recipes. Okay, next I'm going to put about a tablespoon of Dijon, and as you know, I measure with my heart, not necessarily with a spoon, unless I'm baking or trying something for the very first time. After that, I'm going to use about a tablespoon of honey. There we go. And then I'm going to use some salt and some pepper. I'm going to grind this pepper with my fancy schmancy grinders, the UFO type grinders, right? And I found these on Amazon, and they were so inexpensive, and I really gotta say, I like how it flakes my salt, so that works for me. It is a little loud. There we go. Next up, I'm going to put in, it is about, I don't know, maybe a teaspoon or so, but again, measure with your heart. You can always go back. Don't overdo it. Just take it easy when you first start doing it. And a little thyme. This is Greek. I do have a Greek seasoning blend that I really, really like. And I've never used it with this recipe. I'm going to put some crushed red pepper in here because I put it on everything. I find everything tastes better with a little pepper. And I have that all in here. So that's the oregano, that's the thyme, that's the Dijon, the lemon juice, the extra virgin olive oil, and the only thing missing are 8 cloves of garlic. If you're like me and you're looking for time savings, I sometimes buy my garlic already peeled, and never realized until recently that instead of keeping it in the fridge where it doesn't last all that long, you can freeze it and just pull out what you need, and you don't have to wait for it to defrost before you use it. If you are a garlic lover, use a little more. I am a garlic lover, so I will use a little more than the 8, closer to 10, but some of these are not full cloves. They're just clove fragments. Okay, now that I have this in here, I am going to whip this up in my little blender machine. And here's my blender machine. And again,
give us a second about exercise. So if you do those and change your eating habit, we should be able to lose the 60 to 60.
And I will put this on like so. Don't use this blender all that much, but for recipes like this, it does work. Of course, every time I touch anything with an oil, I tend to get my hands all greasy. So we'll put this here. Shake. That ought to do it. Looks like a marinade to me. And here's what it looks like. Let's just make sure that those cloves of garlic very good. Alrighty. There's the garlic, the olive oil, the lemon juice, the Dijon, a little bit of honey, some oregano, some thyme, salt and pepper. And that is a wrap on the actual marinade. And you will get a lot, but you will need a lot because we are going to use a casserole dish for this. Oh man, that smells good. All right, I can smell the lemon, definitely smell the Dijon. I'll know next time if I've made it strong enough. So now it's time to marinate it. You can put it in a bowl and just pour the marinade all over your chicken. I like using a bag. I just find it easier. And I have my chicken here. I bought, as I said, some premium version of the skinless boneless. I have about 6 or nearly 2 pounds here. This recipe is for about 8 thighs or about 2 pounds of meat. And yes, I did rinse off this chicken beforehand, right after I took it out of this very fancy and what I would call definitely not environmentally thoughtful because it is plastic, although maybe that's best. Not sure. All right, I do have the bag with the chicken thighs, and I am going to pour the entire amount of marinade in this bag, just like this. Just like this. And now I'm going to massage it in, make sure it coats everything. And for marinating, so it's about, I don't know, it's about 9:45 in the morning. This is something I'd be making for dinner later. So 3.5 to 4.5 hours really is a good amount of time to marinate. If you want to try overnight, you certainly can, but with the amount of olive oil and the acid in here, you don't want to overdo it because then it might start breaking down the chicken just a little too much and getting it a little mushy. So this is pretty well caked in here, as you can see. I'm going to refrigerate this, as I said, for about 3.5 to 4 hours. And then comes the easy part, throwing it in the baking dish and then throwing it all in the oven. In the meantime, This is going in the fridge, and I'm going to peel some potatoes. So we will catch you later when we're ready to put our dish together and pop it in the oven. Okay, so here is the Greek dressing, lemony, and hopefully delicious. And this has been in the refrigerator and marinating for the past, I'd say close to 4 hours, which is about what I usually plan for. And that's going to be ready to go. Now this is lemon chicken and potatoes, Greek style. So in between, while it was marinating and a few other things, I took the liberty of washing and peeling about seven potatoes. These happen to be yellow potatoes. Either yellow or Yukon Gold work well here. I am going to cut these into chunks. I want these to cook, and I want these to get tender. At the same time, I don't want my chicken to get overcooked, which is why I like making this dish with chicken thighs. Chicken thighs are not just more flavorful, in my opinion, but they're more forgiving of temperature. They're more forgiving of being in the oven and roasting if you have a few other things that need to be roasted. I'm going to cut them into cubes. So you can cut these potatoes as big or as small as you might want. But you really have to just, almost like when you make my piri chicken, keep an eye on the potatoes and the chicken. Now some people, and I know I've done this, I think I've done it in another video, the piri chicken video, I actually took the chicken out so I could continue cooking the potatoes, which is one method. And then some people just say, you know what, the heck with it, the chicken won't dry out. We're talking thighs here, and just cooking it until it is tender. So I think I'm going to try and just cook the potatoes and the chicken together. What I'm going to do is make my chunks small enough so that hopefully it will kind of cook up at the same time. Now the smaller pieces obviously will cook up a lot faster. You can see the size cube. So I'm taking the potato and I'm just cubing it. You can make them a little smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these potatoes and layer it, like one layer. I'm going to make one layer of potatoes in the bottom of my dish here, my casserole dish. There we go. This should be enough. And remember I said it was 6 to 8 chicken thighs and probably about the same amount of potato. You want to make sure that kind of equaling out potato to chicken ratio. And I'm going to put these potatoes on the bottom. The chicken will sit on top. I think I just made it. Just made it. See? The potatoes are all on the bottom layer. If you're like me, you're always a little leery of the potatoes coming out and taking most of the flavor. So I am going to pepper the potato. I am also going to salt the potato. And then, not too much, but I am going to put a few drops of chicken broth here because I do not want these potatoes to get stuck, and I don't want these potatoes to get so dry that they don't kind of cook up in the juices here. Now, there's a lot of juice in this marinade, so I should be okay. I did not put any additional oils here because there is a lot of olive oil in my marinade. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay the chicken on top of these potatoes. And I am, by the way, while I'm doing this, preheating my oven to 425. All right, here comes the chicken. You know, sometimes you buy breasts and they're not that big, and then other times you buy breasts and they're different sizes. Same thing happens with thighs. I bought thighs where they were really tiny, and then I bought thighs where they're kind of big, kind of like these are. These are almost breast-sized thighs, which I love. And you can kind of see how I have it here. There we go. It smells fantastic, gotta say. The rest of the marinade is poured over the potatoes, over the chicken. Every nook and cranny should be covered with this. This is really what's going to give it its flavor. So I want every drop of this marinade to go in this pan. Now, I didn't use real lemons, and I thought twice while this is marinating. I said, you know what, I should have used it. I'm going to add a little lemon concentrate. I know you might think, Nidia, that's overkill. You did put lemon juice in it, and I'm going to say, yes, but lemon juice and lemon concentrate come from two different worlds. This one is much stronger. This one, I believe, is much stronger, and in something where you already have a lot going on, you don't want everything that's going on to overpower the lemon. That's basically bottled lemon. Even though it says pure lemon juice, not the same as squeezing it, and it's not the same and not as intense as something like real lemon. Okay. Garnish the top a little bit with parsley. That's looking just about ready to go. And maybe a little thyme, just a smidge. That is one of those flavors that, especially in Greek cooking, when you have potatoes, you really want to take advantage of that. The other one is a little bit of oregano, and Greek oregano is typically what you would use. I'm using regular. So there's a lot of liquid in here. I probably maybe didn't need the chicken broth. Better safe than sorry, because this is going to cook uncovered for about 30 to 35 minutes before I check it. All total, this may take closer to 45 minutes or so to cook because of the potatoes, but I am going to put these in at 425 once it's heated up, and then I'm going to check it after about a half hour. So let me see how close I am to checking it out. A little bit. So we'll just let that come up to temperature, and then I'll put it in the oven in a few minutes. All right, so the next time you see this chicken, it will be finished. Beautifully roasted. Hopefully it won't be dry, it will be juicy, the potatoes will be cooked, and it'll be ready to go. My oven should be getting up to temperature very, very soon. Like I said, center rack in your oven. Preheat the oven to 425, and then once the oven reaches 425, I am going to lower it to 350 and put this in the oven. I want the oven very hot when I put it in there, and then I'm going to bring it down, and it will typically take between 30 and 45 minutes. I always check after 30 to see where I am with the potatoes, knowing it will take longer, and then assess from there. So that's what I will be doing for the next 45 minutes or so, maybe 50 minutes, until potatoes and chicken is cooked. Chicken temp, you'd like it at around 165, but this is very forgiving if you have to leave it in there longer because of the potatoes. All right, so let me put this in the oven, and I will show you this amazing dish, this amazing one casserole dish when it's finished. All right, so 425, lowered it to 350, placed the entire casserole with the chicken and the potatoes uncovered in the center rack. I did set my timer for about 30 minutes, and I expect it to take probably an additional 15 or 20 after that. It will depend on the potatoes. As soon as I take it out of the oven, I'm going to show you what the finished product looks like while it's in the casserole dish, and I will tell you how long it took in the oven. Okay, catch you when it's done. Okay, so I was a little wrong with my estimate. I put it in for 30 minutes, checked. Another 10, checked. Another 20. So this is about an hour. And still not done, so I'm going to put it in for about another 15 minutes. Even the top isn't browned enough. I like it a little more brown, although I do think it will be soon. Let me check to see how well the potatoes are cooked. Right, so here's a potato. Yeah, they still have some bite to it. They do. Definitely don't want that bite. These are going to need another 15 or 20 minutes, so let's do it this time. And remember, chicken thighs are very forgiving. All right, I have a knife here. Let's check out these potatoes. A couple of them have a slight bite to them, but some of them are cooked perfectly. That one's nice. This one's nice. Yeah, I think this is just about done. I could use a little bit more browning on the top. I just took it out of the oven. Look at this. Oh my God, it smells amazing. It smells amazing.
Well, yeah, but this is not your first rodeo. You knew all these.
So let's just
So I don't know.
get a close up here. So we have the chicken here. Let me just cut a piece and put it on the plate, and we'll check out what it looks like.
So this guy thinks his last hoorah, Popeye, and all this and that, and he doesn't follow this diet.
So I'm going to cut a
It's up
piece
to him.
here.
What can Dr. Now do if you're not following the diet?
Just some potatoes. Oh, I need a spoon for that sauce. 1 second. Here we go. Here's the spoon. Let's do this. Look at that.
Also, 100 pounds in 2 months. Like, this is brutal, Dr. Now. I like when Dr. Now's a little bit more brutal about things. Like you're diabetic, you're eating candy. What the Charleston shoes wrong with your dumb ass?
And here we
Like, I
go.
like when Dr. Now's like this.
It's done. And doesn't that look beautiful? I'm going to have it for dinner, so I'm not going to try it on camera, but I will tell you. Oh, heavenly. All right. Thank you very much for watching today. Thank you very much for all of your support. This is Dwayne and Nidia, Food, Travel, and Fun. Lots more to come. Please enjoy this garlic. Oh, I've got it all messed up today. Please enjoy this Greek lemon chicken with potatoes. And if you do get a chance to make this, let me know how it turned out. Stay tuned for more here on our channel. And again, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for more videos from our channel. Bye, and thank you.